Look at your life right now. Look at your struggles. Look at your bank account. Look at your relationships. Look at your dreams that are gathering dust on the shelves of your mind. And let this truth sink deep into your soul. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to show up at your door with a magic wand and a briefcase full of money. Nobody is going to hand you your dream life on a silver platter. And nobody is going to pull you out of the bed of excuses you have made for yourself. The rescue party is not on the way. The cavalry is not riding over the hill. And if you keep waiting for some external force, some lucky break, some politician, some partner, or some miracle to turn your situation around, you will wait until the day you die with your potential still locked inside your chest, taking your greatest gifts straight to the cemetery. It is time to wake up from the daydream of rescue. It is time to face the cold, hard, beautiful truth that the responsibility for your life, your happiness, your success, and your peace of mind rests entirely on your shoulders and yours alone. If you stay with me until the very end of this message today, you are going to experience a shift in your consciousness that cannot be undone. You are going to get the clarity you have been begging for, and you are going to receive a practical, step-by-step way to start rescuing yourself today. Because if you shut this off early, if you run away from this truth because it makes you uncomfortable, you will keep running for the rest of your life, repeating the same painful cycles of waiting and wishing. I need you to lock in right now. I need you to put away the distractions. I need you to listen to me, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Because what we are talking about today is the difference between living a life of quiet desperation and stepping into the absolute greatness that is your birthright. Let me tell you about someone I knew very well. Someone who lived in a state of constant waiting. Someone who was just like you, struggling day after day, year after year, hoping that the universe would finally notice how hard things were and send a lifeline. This was a man with brilliant ideas, a man with a heart of gold, a man who could speak with passion and dream with the best of them, but he had a fatal flaw. He believed that his current pain was temporary and that eventually someone would recognize his silent struggle and elevate him. He worked a job that drained his spirit, a job where he was underpaid and unappreciated. And every single morning he would sit in his car in the parking lot, staring at the steering wheel, his chest tight with anxiety, crying out in his mind, asking, when is it my turn? When is someone going to give me my break? When is my luck going to change? He would go home to a house filled with tension, look at his mounting bills, look at his fading relationships, and he would tell himself that next year would be different, that next year the right person would come along, the right opportunity would present itself, and he would finally be saved from this mediocre existence. Years rolled by like water through his fingers. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And nothing changed except the lines on his face and the weight of the bitterness in his heart. The rock bottom moment came on a freezing Tuesday night in December when his old, beat-up car broke down on the side of a dark, deserted highway 30 miles from home. His phone battery was at 2%. His bank account was in the negative, and the rain was pouring down so hard he could barely see past his windshield. He sat there in the freezing cold, shivering, trying to call the only 3 people he thought he could rely on, and one by one, the calls went to voicemail, or they told him they were too busy, or they simply didn't answer. When the phone finally died, darkness swallowed the car, and in that absolute silence, broken only by the sound of the rain beating against the metal roof, he realized with a terrifying, crushing weight that he was completely, utterly alone, that nobody was looking for him, nobody was worrying about him, and nobody was on their way to rescue him from that cold shoulder of the highway. He buried his face in his hands and sobbed, not just for the broken-down car, but for the broken-down life he had allowed himself to live while waiting for a savior who did not exist. But that cold, dark night wasn't the end of his story. It was the birth of his life. Because in that moment of absolute despair, when there was nothing left to hope for from the outside world, a tiny spark of anger flared up inside his chest, an anger that turned into a decision, a realization that if he was going to get home, he had to start walking, and if he was going to change his life, he had to stop waiting. He opened the car door, stepped out into the freezing rain, and started walking down that dark road, one step at a time, wet, cold, and exhausted. But for the first time in his life, he felt a strange sense of power, because he was no longer waiting for a ride, he was moving his own feet.
That walk changed everything. That walk was the moment he decided that he would become his own rescue team, that he would be the one to lift his family up, that he would be the one to build the business, that he would be the one to heal his mind. And from that night forward, his life began to shift, slowly at first, but with an unstoppable momentum, because he had finally embraced the ultimate truth of human existence. Be honest with me, have you ever felt like that man on the side of the highway? You know that feeling, don't you? That feeling of sitting in the dark, waiting for a call that never comes, hoping for an email that never arrives, wishing that someone would just see how hard you are trying and offer you a hand up. Have you been sitting on the sidelines of your own life, waiting for the perfect circumstances, waiting for the economy to get better, waiting for your partner to change, waiting for your parents to validate you, waiting for some cosmic sign that it is finally safe to step out and pursue what you want? If you are still here listening to this, if this is hitting you right where it hurts, I want you to make a commitment right now. I want you to type "I'm still here" in the comments to let me know that you are ready to face this truth and stop running from your own power. We have been conditioned from the time we were children to believe in rescue stories. We grew up on fairy tales where the hero always arrives in the nick of time, where the princess is locked in the tower waiting for the knight in shining armor, where the poor kid is discovered by some wealthy benefactor and swept away to a life of luxury. We watch movies where the underdog is down to their last breath, and suddenly, magically, they find the strength or the helper to win the day. But let me tell you something. Life is not a Hollywood script. Life does not owe you a happy ending just because you have suffered. And the longer you wait for a scriptwriter to change your storyline, the more of your life you are going to waste.
People fail in life not because they lack talent, not because they lack drive, not because they lack dreams, but because they are waiting for a rescue party that was never sent. They are living in a state of perpetual delay, holding their breath, waiting for the start line to find them instead of drawing their own line in the sand. What people usually do wrong when they find themselves in a dark place is that they look outward. They point their fingers at the economy. They point their fingers at their upbringing. They point their fingers at their ex-spouse. They point their fingers at their boss. And they say, if only this person would do their job. If only my childhood had been better. If only my market was different, then I could succeed.
But when you point your finger out there, you are giving away all of your power. You are declaring yourself a victim. You are telling the universe that your life is governed by external forces and that you have no control over your own destiny. You must stop looking out of the window and start looking in the mirror, because the person staring back at you in that glass is the only person who can solve your problems, the only person who can rebuild your finances, the only person who can heal your broken heart, and the only person who can write the chapters of your future. If you really want to change your life, if you are tired of the constant disappointment of unfulfilled potential, write "I'm ready" below, because the moment you write those words, you are signing a contract with yourself that the waiting era is officially over. Let's break down this illusion of the rescue party, because we have to understand why we wait in the first place. We have to understand why it is so seductive to believe that someone else will save us. It is seductive because saving yourself is hard. Saving yourself requires pain. Saving yourself requires looking at your flaws, your laziness, your bad habits, and your fears, and taking absolute responsibility for them. It is so much easier to sit back and complain about what other people aren't doing for us. It is so much easier to play the martyr, to talk about how unfair the world is, to accumulate a collection of excuses that make us feel comfortable in our mediocrity. When you are waiting to be saved, you don't have to take risks. You don't have to face the fear of failure. You don't have to put your neck on the line. You can just sit in the waiting room of life, complaining about the service and hoping that someone will eventually call your name. But let me give you a reality check that might hurt, but it is a hurt that will heal you. Everyone else is busy saving themselves. Everyone else is dealing with their own demons, their own bills, their own heartbreaks, their own health issues, and their own fears. Even the people who love you the most, your parents, your spouse, your closest friends, they have their own mountains to climb, and they do not have the strength, the time, or the capacity to carry you up yours. If you are waiting for them to make you happy, if you are waiting for them to make you financially secure, if you are waiting for them to build your self-esteem, you are placing an unfair burden on them, and you are setting yourself up for deep resentment and inevitable heartbreak. You must realize that your life is your own private project, and no one else can do the heavy lifting for you. No one else can go to the gym for you. No one else can study for you. No one else can do the inner work of healing your childhood trauma for you. And no one else can build your business for you. You have to learn how to build your own bridge across the chasms of your life. You have to learn how to find your own light when you are in the deepest dark. And you have to become comfortable with the fact that sometimes you will have to walk alone. Stepping out alone is terrifying. It feels like walking off a cliff into the darkness. But it is only when you step off that cliff that your wings will actually open. It is only when you have no safety net that you will discover the incredible, unbreakable strength that has been dormant inside you for years. Think of all the times you have survived what you thought would destroy you. Think of the breakups, the losses, the financial crises, the moments of deep despair that you have already made it through, and realize that you didn't survive those things because someone came to save you. You survived them because you dug deep, you found a way, and you kept moving forward. Pause for a second right now. Look back at your history and ask yourself, do you really want this? Do you really want to be the hero of your own story? Or are you just saying you do because it sounds good? Are you willing to trade the comfortable prison of your excuses for the wild, unpredictable, challenging path of self-reliance? If you want to start rescuing yourself today, you have to change the way you talk to yourself. You have to change the internal narrative that has been keeping you small. For years, you have been telling yourself stories about why you can't do it. Stories about your age, stories about your race, stories about your lack of education, stories about your past mistakes, stories about how you don't have enough money or enough time. Those stories are lies. They are defense mechanisms designed by your ego to keep you safe from the discomfort of growth. And every single time you repeat those stories, you are reinforcing the bars of your own cage. You have to start speaking to yourself with a new authority. You have to start telling yourself a new story. A story that says, I am the creator of my life. I am the driver of my bus. I am the author of my destiny. And if something is going to change, I am the one who is going to change it. Let me give you a perspective shift that will blow your mind. The fact that nobody is coming to save you is actually the most beautiful, liberating, empowering news you could ever receive. Think about it. If someone else had to save you, it would mean that your life was completely out of your hands. It would mean that you were a hostage to their schedule, to their kindness, to their mood, and to their approval. It would mean that if they decided to walk away, your life would crumble. But when you realize that nobody is coming to save you, it means that you don't have to wait for anyone's permission. You don't have to wait for anyone's approval. You don't have to wait for the right political climate. You don't have to wait for the stars to align. And you don't have to wait for someone to give you a chance. You can give yourself the chance. You can make the decision. You can start the project. You can make the call. And you can take control of your own ship, starting right this second. So how do we move from the state of waiting to the state of action? We start by taking radical, 100% responsibility for everything in our lives. When I say everything, I mean everything. I mean taking responsibility for your financial situation, even if you lost your job due to the economy, I mean taking responsibility for your physical health, even if you have genetic predispositions. I mean taking responsibility for your emotional state, even if someone else treated you terribly. Taking responsibility does not mean that you are blaming yourself for everything that went wrong. Blame is looking backward at who made the mistake, but responsibility is looking forward at who is going to fix it.
It doesn't matter whose fault it is that you are in a hole. What matters is that you are the one holding the shovel, and you are the only one who can dig yourself out of it. If you are ready to put down the shovel of blame and start building the ladder of action, let's begin a 7-day challenge together. A challenge that is designed to break the habit of waiting and build the muscle of self-rescue. This is not a complicated challenge. It doesn't require you to climb a mountain or spend thousands of dollars, but it requires absolute commitment, daily focus, and a refusal to make excuses.
For the next 7 days, I want you to perform one daily act of self-rescue, one small, bold, decisive action that proves to your brain that you are no longer waiting for a savior, but that you are active, engaged, and in charge of your own life. On day 1 of this challenge, I want you to identify the single biggest excuse you have been using to justify your lack of progress. The story you tell everyone about why you aren't where you want to be. And I want you to write it down on a piece of paper, look at it, and then physically tear it up, burn it, or throw it away, making a conscious decision that you will never use that excuse again as long as you live. On day 2, I want you to take control of your morning, to wake up 1 hour earlier than usual, and spend that hour working on your mind, reading something that elevates you, journaling about your goals, or moving your body, showing yourself that you are the master of your time. On day 3, I want you to make that phone call or send that email that you have been avoiding out of fear, the one you have been hoping someone else would make for you, the one that could open a new door or close an old, painful one. On day 4, I want you to invest a small amount of money or time into your own development. Whether that is buying a book, signing up for a course, or spending 2 hours studying a high-income skill, proving to your bank account that you are your own greatest asset. On day 5, I want you to audit your environment and cut out one negative, draining influence, whether that is unfollowing accounts on social media that make you feel inadequate, clearing out clutter from your workspace, or setting a firm, healthy boundary with someone who constantly brings drama and victimhood into your life. On day 6, I want you to write down a clear, detailed vision of what your life will look like 5 years from now, if you take absolute responsibility starting today, painting a picture so vivid, so exciting, and so powerful that it pulls you forward out of bed every morning. And finally, on day 7, I want you to take one concrete, physical step toward that 5-year vision, whether that is registering a domain name, setting up a savings account specifically for your dream, or writing the first page of your book. Once you complete these 7 days, once you have proven to yourself that you have the power to move your own mountain, I want you to come back to this video, look at your comment, and write Day 7 done, so that the whole world, and more importantly, your own subconscious mind, knows that you are serious about your transformation. This challenge is your opportunity to build a new momentum, to show yourself that you don't need a rescue team because you are the rescue team. And as you do this, you will feel a shift in your energy, a rise in your confidence, and a sense of power that you haven't felt in years. You will realize that the fear you have been running from is just a shadow that disappears when you turn around and shine the light of your own action upon it. The road to greatness is not easy. It is paved with obstacles, setbacks, and moments of self-doubt. But those obstacles are not there to stop you. They are there to test you, to see if you have the hunger, the drive, and the resolve to keep going when the going gets tough. Do not let your past define your future. Do not let the mistakes you have made, the times you have fallen, or the years you have wasted convince you that you are not capable of greatness.
There is an untapped reservoir of strength inside you, a fire that has been burning quietly beneath the surface, waiting for you to feed it with the fuel of your own decision, your own hunger, and your own relentless action. You have within you right now the power to change your life, to rewrite your story, to heal your family, to build your legacy, and to leave a mark on this world that will never be erased. But none of that will happen until you finally get serious, until you finally stop looking around for help, and until you decide that you are going to be the savior of your own life.
I need you to feel the urgency of this moment. I need you to understand that time is ticking, that the clock is running out on your dreams, and that every single day you spend waiting for a rescue is a day you are stealing from your future self, from your children, and from the people who need your light. If this message spoke to your heart today, if it broke through the fog of your excuses and lit a fire in your soul, I want you to hit that subscribe button right now to join this community of people who are refusing to live small, who are taking radical responsibility for their lives. Share this video with someone you know who is hurting, someone who has given up, someone who is stuck in the victim trap, so they too can find the strength to save themselves. And when you are done, watch the next video on this channel, because that video is your next step, your next level of training, your next injection of truth that will keep you moving forward on this journey of self-mastery. Remember, nobody is coming to save you, but the good news is you don't need them to, because you are more than enough. You are powerful, you are strong, and you have greatness inside you. As you stand at this crossroads today, look at the two paths stretching out before you. One path is the path you have been walking, the familiar road of waiting, of hoping, of complaining, of letting life happen to you, of wondering what could have been if only someone had helped you. And the other path is the rugged, steep, exciting path of self-determination, where you take the wheel of your own destiny, where you accept the pain of growth over the numbness of stagnation, where you choose to be the creator rather than the victim of your circumstances. Yes, the second path is harder. Yes, it will require you to sweat, to cry, to lose sleep, and to face the parts of yourself that you have been avoiding. But it is also the only path that leads to true freedom, the only path that leads to a life where you can look back at the end of your days and say with absolute pride, I lived, I fought, I conquered, and I built this life with my own two hands. Think of the legacy you want to leave behind. Think of the story you want your children and your grandchildren to tell about you. Do you want to mind? 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 A person who faced insurmountable odds, who had every reason to give up, who sat in the dark on the side of the highway and made a decision to walk, to fight, to build, and to rise. Your life is the ultimate canvas, and you are the artist. So stop handing the brush to other people. Stop letting your boss paint your future. Stop letting your bank account paint your limits. Stop letting your past paint your self-worth, and grab that brush with a firm, steady grip and start painting a masterpiece of strength, of abundance, of courage, and of love. You must develop a hunger that cannot be satisfied by mediocre comfort. A hunger that drives you past the temptation to sleep in, past the temptation to watch endless hours of television, past the temptation to scroll mindlessly through your phone. A hunger that demands that you give everything you have to the realization of your dreams. That hunger is what will keep you going when the rest of the world is sleeping. That hunger is what will give you the energy to make one more phone call, to write one more page, to study one more hour, to take one more step when your body is screaming for you to stop. If you don't have that hunger yet, you have to cultivate it. You have to feed it by looking at what is at stake, by realizing that your life is not a dress rehearsal, that this is the main event, the only show you get, and that the curtain is closing a little bit more with every single breath you take. Let this truth settle into the deep, quiet spaces of your mind. You are fully capable of doing the hard things. You have the intelligence, you have the resilience, you have the heart, and you have the spirit to overcome any obstacle that stands in your path. But you must stop waiting for a hand up and start lifting yourself up. The world respects action. The universe responds to movement. And when you start moving, when you start fighting, when you start taking responsibility, you will find that the doors you thought were locked forever begin to open. The people who wouldn't look at you before begin to notice. And the resources you thought you lacked begin to appear, not because a savior arrived, but because you became the kind of person who commands success through the sheer power of your own will. So step up today, claim your power, embrace the beauty and the weight of your own responsibility. Take the 7-day challenge and run with it. Show the world what you are made of, and never, ever look back, because the era of waiting is over. The rescue mission is complete, and the Savior you have been looking for all these years has finally been found, and they are standing right there, looking back at you in the mirror.
Let us dig deeper into this truth, because the moment you accept that no one is coming to save you, your entire relationship with the world changes. Your relationships with other people transform from dependencies into partnerships. Your relationship with your career changes from a search for validation to an arena of live self-expression, and your relationship with yourself shifts from a state of constant self-sabotage to a state of profound self-respect.
When you stop demanding that other people make you feel whole, you can finally appreciate them for who they are rather than what they can do for you. You stop being needy. You stop being desperate, and you start being a source of strength, a pillar of support, a person who radiates power rather than draining it from the room. Think about the time you have wasted wishing things were different, wishing the people around you were different, wishing your boss would notice your hard work, wishing your family would support your dreams, wishing your partner would understand your passion. All of that wishing is just energy poured down the drain. It is a form of passive aggression against reality. But when you stop wishing and start doing, when you say, my boss doesn't notice me, so I am going to build my own business on the side. My family doesn't support my dreams, so I am going to find a new tribe of like-minded individuals who do. My partner doesn't understand my passion, so I am going to pursue it anyway and let my results speak for themselves. That is when you become unstoppable.
It is time to have a serious, honest conversation with yourself. A conversation where you drop the mask, where you stop pretending that you are doing everything you can, where you admit that you have been holding back, that you have been playing safe, that you have been letting fear run the show. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid of failing? Am I afraid of what other people will say? Am I afraid of discovering that I don't have what it takes? Let me tell you, the only real failure is the failure to try. The only true tragedy is the tragedy of looking back at your life with regret, knowing that you let your fears make your decisions for you.
The opinions of other people are irrelevant. They are a temporary distraction, a passing wind, and the people who judge you today will be the ones who copy you tomorrow once you achieve your friends. And as for the fear of discovering you don't have what it takes, let me put that fear to rest right now. You do have what it takes, but you will never find it as long as you remain in the safety of the harbor. You have to sail out into the storm. You have to let the waves crash against your ship. You have to let the winds test your resolve, because it is only in the middle of the storm that the captain is made. It is only in the fire of challenge that the gold of your character is refined. You cannot build strength by lifting light weights. You cannot build courage by doing what is easy. And you cannot build a legendary life by staying in your comfort zone. Look at the giants of history. Look at the people who have built empires, who have changed laws, who have created world-shifting art, who have overcome unimaginable tragedies to achieve greatness. They didn't have special powers. They didn't have a direct line to some divine rescue squad. They were ordinary human beings with extraordinary determination. People who looked at their circumstances, refused to accept them, and decided that they would be the ones to make a change.
They took the bricks that life threw at them and used them to build a foundation for their dreams. They took the pain, the rejection, the isolation, and the despair, and they processed it into fuel, into a relentless drive that kept them moving forward when everyone else told them it was impossible.
If you are still listening to me, if you are feeling this message vibrating in your bones, I want you to understand that this is your call to arms. This is your wake-up call. This is the moment where you draw a line in the dirt of your life and declare that the version of you that still waited, the version of you that made excuses, the version of you that played the victim is dead and buried, and a new, powerful, self-reliant version of you is being born today. I want you to feel the weight of that decision. I want you to feel the power of it. And I want you to carry that power with you as you go to sleep tonight, as you wake up tomorrow morning, and as you face every single challenge that life throws at you. Do not let the world distract you from your path. Do not let the noise of the news, the drama of social media, or the negativity of average minds pull you down into the swamp of mediocrity. Stay focused on your vision. Stay committed to your daily actions. Keep pushing. Keep climbing. Keep fighting. And remember that every single step you take on your own is a step toward your freedom. The path of self-rescue is a lifelong journey. It is not a destination. It is a way of living, a philosophy of strength, a commitment to never, ever give up on yourself. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you fall, and no matter how dark the night may seem. You have the fire, you have the strength, you have the power, and you have the responsibility. So go out there and make it happen. Stop waiting. Start doing. And become the hero you have been waiting for your entire life. Let this message sink deep. Let it challenge you. Let it wake you up. Let it drive you to action. And let it remind you every single day that you are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, and that nobody, absolutely nobody, is coming to save you. And that, my friend, is the greatest gift you could ever receive. Now, as you begin to walk this path of self-reliance, you must prepare yourself for the resistance that will inevitably come, because the moment you decide to change, the moment you decide to take control of your life and stop waiting, the gravity of your old life will try to pull you back. Your old habits will scream for comfort. Your old friends might look at you with suspicion or far to drag you down to their level of complaining, and your own mind will play tricks on you, whispering that you are not strong enough, that you should just go back to the way things were, that it was easier when you could just blame everyone else for your problems. This resistance is normal. It is a sign that you are moving in the right direction. It is the friction that occurs when a rocket tries to break free from the Earth's atmosphere. And you must be prepared to push through that friction with everything you have. You must develop an iron will, a mental toughness that refuses to negotiate with laziness, a discipline that overrides your feelings on any given day. You cannot afford to operate on inspiration alone, because inspiration is a fair weather friend that disappears when the work gets tedious, when the weather gets cold, or when the results don't show up immediately. You must build your life on the solid rock of discipline, on the habit of doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not, whether you are tired or rested, whether you are happy or sad. Because when you operate on discipline, you are no longer a slave to your moods. You are the master of your actions. Think about what is waiting for you on the other side of this struggle. Think about the pride you will feel when you look at your life and know that you built it. Think about the security you will provide for your loved ones because you refuse to wait for someone else to secure them. Think about the peace of mind that comes from knowing that no matter what storm comes, you have the strength, the skills, and the resilience to navigate through it.
That is the prize of self-reliance. That is the reward for taking radical responsibility. And it is worth every ounce of effort, every tear, and every drop of sweat you will shed along the way.
Do not look back at the past with regret. Do not waste your precious energy wishing you had started sooner, wishing you hadn't made those mistakes, wishing you hadn't trusted the wrong people. Your past was a training ground, a school of hard knocks that taught you exactly what doesn't work, a series of lessons that prepared you for this very moment, and every scar you carry is a badge of honor, a proof that you survived, a testament to your resilience. Use those lessons, use that pain, let it be the foundation upon which you build your empire, and let your future be so bright, so powerful, and so successful that it completely overshadows the darkness of your past. This is your life, your one and only shot at this physical existence, so do not spend it living small. Do not spend it waiting in the wings. Do not spend it playing a minor role in someone else's play. Step into the spotlight. Take the lead role. Write your own script. Direct your own scenes. And make your life a story worth telling. A story that inspires others to stand up, to stop waiting, and to start saving themselves. You have the power inside you right now. A power that is greater than any obstacle, greater than any economic crisis, greater than any childhood trauma, and greater than any fear. And it is time for you to unleash that power upon the world. So stand tall, lock your eyes on your vision, take a deep breath, and take your first step on the path of self-rescue, knowing that you are not alone, because the strength of every conqueror who ever lived is flowing through your veins, and you have everything you need to win. Stop waiting, start doing, and go get what is yours. Let us continue this deep dive, because we need to talk about the physical reality of what happens when you decide to become your own savior. We need to talk about the day-to-day grind, the moments when you are alone in your room, the times when you have to make decisions that no one else understands. When you accept that nobody is coming to save you, you start looking at your daily habits with a critical, unforgiving eye. You realize that the way you spend your days is the way you spend your life, and that if you are spending your days in procrastination, in distraction, in consumption rather than creation, you are actively participating in your own destruction. You must audit your time as if it were currency, because it is the most valuable currency you have, a currency that cannot be printed, cannot be borrowed, and cannot be replaced once it is spent. Where is your time going? Are you spending it building someone else's dream while your own dreams rot? Are you spending it keeping up with people who don't care about your future? Are you spending it feeding your brain with digital garbage that numbs your ambition and paralyzes your actions? If you want to change your life, you have to change your diet, not just what you put in your mouth, but what you put in your eyes and your ears. Because what you feed your mind will determine what you produce with your life. Feed your mind with knowledge. Feed your mind with discipline. Feed your mind with stories of triumph and self-reliance. And starve your mind of gossip, of negativity, of victimhood, and of the constant distraction of cheap entertainment. And let us talk about the fear of failure, because this is the biggest anchor holding people back from rescuing themselves. The fear that if they step out, if they try, if they put their heart on the line, they will fail and prove to the world that they weren't good enough. But let me tell you what failure actually is. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success. It is the laboratory of achievement, the place where you test theories, make adjustments, and learn what works. Every time you fail, you are not losing. You are learning. You are gathering data. You are becoming wiser, stronger, and more capable. And the only real failure is when you stop trying, when you let a setback convince you to sit back, down on the couch of excuses, and wait for someone else to carry you. You must develop a relationship with failure where you welcome it as a teacher, where you look at it not as a reflection of your worth, but as a map showing you where to go next. And when you lose that fear of failure, when you realize that you can survive any setback, recover from any loss, and rebuild from any defeat, you become truly dangerous. You become a force of nature that cannot be stopped by any obstacle or slowed down by any critic.
You will walk into rooms with a different energy. You will speak with a different authority. And you will take actions that other people are too terrified to even contemplate. Because you know that even if you fall, you have the strength, the resolve, and the power to stand back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. Think of the relief that comes with this mindset. The freedom of no longer being a hostage to hope, of no longer waiting for the phone to ring, of no longer hoping that someone will like your post, approve your loan, or give you their blessing.
When you are your own savior, you build your own platforms. You create your own opportunities. You approve your own ideas, and you validate your own worth. And that means that no one can take your success away from you, because no one gave it to you in the first place. You built it with your own hands. You paid for it with your own sweat, and you own it outright. 100% forever. So I ask you again, have you ever felt that spark of hunger deep inside you? That quiet voice that whispers in the middle of the night, telling you that you were made for more than this, that you are living a fraction of the life you were meant to live. Do not ignore that voice. Do not drown it out with alcohol, with food, with social media, or with the comforting lies of average people, because that voice is your true self. Your greatness trying to break through the armor of your excuses. And it is begging you to stand up, to take responsibility, and to start fighting for your life. Listen to me carefully. Your life is a precious, finite gift. A brief flash of light in the infinite darkness of the universe. And you do not have time to waste waiting for a rescue party that is never coming. The clock is ticking. The days are passing. The years are rolling by. And before you know it, you will be standing at the end of your road, looking back at the life you lived. And you do not want that moment to be filled with the agonizing pain of regret, the crushing realization that you had greatness inside you, but you let it die because you were too afraid to step out and save yourself. Take action today. Take the 7-day challenge. Make the commitment. Write "I'm ready" in the comments and start building the life of your dreams with your own hands, because you have the strength, you have the courage, and you have the power to be your own hero. Let us build upon this momentum, because once you start taking action, once you start rescuing yourself, you will notice a remarkable thing. Your courage will begin to grow, not because your fears have disappeared, but because your capacity to face them has expanded. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the judgment that something else is more important than fear, and that something else is your freedom, your dream, your legacy, and your peace of mind. Every single time you choose to take action despite your fear, you are training your brain to believe in your own power. You are building a muscle of confidence that will carry you through the toughest battles of your life.
But you must be consistent. You cannot take action for 3 days and then take a week off because you are tired or because you didn't see immediate results. Success is not a single spectacular event. It is the accumulation of hundreds of small, quiet, unseen efforts that nobody applauds. The work you do when no one is watching. The decisions you make when you are alone in the dark. The daily choice to keep grinding. Keep studying. Keep building when the world is offering you 1,000 easy distractions.
It is the boring, repetitive, unglamorous consistency that separates the champions from the dreamers, the self-rescuers from the waiters, and you must fall in love with that daily process, with the work itself, with the feeling of pushing yourself to your limits and discovering that you can go even further. Let us look closely at the illusion of security, because many people remain in the waiting room of life because they are afraid to lose their security, their stable job, their predictable routine, their comfortable environment.
But let me tell you the truth about security. It is a myth, a ghost, a shadow that disappears at the first sign of a real storm. because the company you work for can lay you off tomorrow. The economy can crash next week. Your health can fail in an instant, and the routine you rely on can be shattered by forces beyond your control. The only true security you will ever have in this life is the security of your own skills, your own resilience, your own mental toughness, and your own ability to produce results under any circumstances. And when you have that security, you don't need a secure job, a secure market, or a secure environment, because you are secure in yourself, and you can build a new castle wherever you land.
Stop looking for safety and start looking for growth. Stop trying to avoid pain and start trying to build strength. Stop waiting for the world to become easy and start making yourself strong enough to handle whatever the world throws at you. You are a warrior, a creator, a force of nature, and you were not designed to live in a bubble of safety, waiting for life to pass you by. You were designed to step into the arena, to fight the lions, to conquer the mountains, and to leave your mark on the world. So look at your life right now. Look at the areas where you have been settled, where you have been accepting less than you deserve, where you have been waiting for someone to make it better. And make a decision today that you will no longer tolerate mediocrity. If your job is draining your soul, start building your exit strategy today. Start learning the skills, saving the money, and making the connections that will allow you to break free. If your relationships are toxic, set the boundaries or walk away, and stop waiting for the other person to magically become someone they are not. If your health is failing, take control of your diet, start moving your body, and stop waiting for a miracle pill to save you. You are the one, the only one, who can turn your life around, and the moment you fully accept this, the moment you let go of the hope of rescue, you will feel an incredible, explosive sense of freedom, because you will realize that if your life is up to you, then nothing can stop you from making it great. You are no longer waiting for the world to change. You are changing yourself. And as you change yourself, the world around you will have no choice but to change with you. So rise up today, step out of the shadow of your excuses, leave the waiting room behind forever. Take the 7-day challenge and prove to yourself what you are truly capable of, and let the world see the power of a human being who has decided to become their own savior. Let this message stay with you. Let it burn in your heart. Let it guide your steps. And let it remind you every single day that you have greatness inside you, that your past does not define your future, and that nobody, absolutely nobody, is coming to save you, and that is why you are going to win. Let us delve even deeper into the psychology of the wait, because to truly free ourselves, we must understand the chains that bind us. We must understand that the waiting mindset is a virus of the soul, a slow-acting poison that paralyzes our potential and keeps us trapped in a prison of our own making.
We wait because we are addicted to hope, but not the active hope of the builder, but the passive, lazy hope of the gambler, the hope that somehow, without our effort, the numbers will align and we will hit the jackpot of life. This passive hope is a trap. It is a narcotic that dulls the pain of our current situation and allows us to tolerate things that we should be fighting to change. It makes us comfortable with our chains, and it allows us to look at our lives and say, it's not that bad. Things will get better eventually, while our years slip away like sand through an hourglass.
You must kill that passive hope. You must replace it with a fierce, burning, active determination. A determination that says, things will not get better unless I make them better. My life will not change unless I change it. And I am not going to sit here and wait one more day for a miracle that is already inside me, waiting to be unleashed. You must develop a healthy impatience, a holy frustration with your current level of existence, a refusal to accept the crumbs that life throws at you when you are capable of sitting at the banquet table of abundance. This frustration is not negative. It is the spark of creation, the divine discontent that drives the entrepreneur to build the company, the artist to paint the masterpiece, and the individual to rebuild their life from the ground up. Do not be afraid of this frustration. Do not try to numb it with alcohol, with food, with entertainment, or with the company of other complacent people. Let it burn. Let it agitate you. Let it drive you out of bed in the morning. Let it keep you focused on your work when the rest of the world is sleeping. Use that energy to fuel your action, to power your habits, to drive your discipline, and to keep you moving forward when the road gets steep and the wind is in your face. Because when you use your frustration as fuel, you become an unstoppable force, a locomotive of progress that cannot be slowed down by any obstacle or stopped by any critic. Let us talk about the people who will try to pull you back. The people who will tell you that you are changing, that you are being selfish, that you are being unrealistic, that you need to be practical and accept things as they are. These people are not necessarily your enemies. Often they are your friends, your family, the people who love you, but they are speaking from their own fear, their own limitations, and their own complacency. Because when you stand up and start rescuing yourself, when you stop waiting and start acting, you are holding up a mirror to them, a mirror that shows them their own laziness, their own excuses, and their own unfulfilled potential, and they don't like what they see in that mirror. And so they will try to pull you back down into the bucket of crabs so that they can feel comfortable again. You must have the courage to stand strong against this pressure. You must have the love to forgive them for their limitations. But you must have the steel in your spine to walk your own path anyway, without their approval, without their understanding, and without their blessing. You do not need their validation to save your own life. You do not need their permission to pursue your greatness. And you do not need their company on the rugged road of self-determination. Because as you walk that road, as you climb that mountain, you will find a new tribe, a family of warriors, of creators, of self-rescuers who will understand your passion, support your journey, and lift you higher than you ever thought possible. But to find that new tribe, you must first be willing to walk alone. You must be willing to face the silence of the wilderness, the isolation of the laboratory, the loneliness of the arena, and you must find your strength not in the applause of the crowd, but in the quiet approval of your own conscience, in the knowledge that you are doing what needs to be done, that you are being true to your potential, and that you are taking responsibility for your own life. When you find your strength inside yourself, you become unbreakable. You become a person who can stand in the middle of any storm, face any giant, and conquer any mountain, because you know that your power does not depend on the world outside, but on the fire burning inside your own chest. So stand up today, look the mirror in the eyes, and make a vow to the person staring back at you, a vow that you will never abandon them again, that you will never leave them waiting on the side of the highway, that you will never let their dreams die in the prison of excuses, and that you will be their protector, their provider, their builder, and their savior. Write "I'm ready" in the comments to seal this vow. Take the 7-day challenge to build your first momentum and let the world see what happens when a human being finally decides to stop waiting and start saving themselves, because there is greatness inside you and it is time to let it shine. Let us expand our vision. Let us look at the bigger picture of what a life of self-rescue truly looks like, because this is not just about survival, it is about thriving. It is about building a life of absolute abundance, of deep fulfillment, of joy, and of impact. When you take 100% responsibility for your life, you are not just taking responsibility for your problems, you are taking responsibility for your opportunities. You are opening your eyes to the incredible wealth of possibilities that exist all around you. Possibilities that you were blind to when you were looking for a savior. You realize that the world is not a place of scarcity, but a place of infinite abundance, a garden of opportunity waiting to be cultivated by those who are willing to do the work, to take the risks, and to believe in their own power. Stop looking at what you don't have. Stop complaining about what you lost. Stop focusing on the doors that have closed and start looking at what you do have. Start focusing on the tools in your hands, the strength in your body, the knowledge in your mind, and the fire in your soul, and start using those things to build a new path, to open new doors, and to create your own opportunities. You do not need a wealthy family, a high-ranking connection, or a lucky break to build a successful life. You need a vision, a strategy, a commitment to daily action, and a refusal to quit until you win. And when you have those things, you can build a kingdom from the dust. You can create a legacy from nothing, and you can change the trajectory of your family for generations to come. Do not let the complexity of the world overwhelm you. Do not let the size of your dreams terrify you. Every great achievement in human history, every empire, every technology, every social movement started as a single, simple idea in the mind of a single person who decided to take action. A person who refused to wait for permission. A person who took one small step, then another, building momentum, gathering allies, and changing the world through the sheer force of their relentless determination. You are no different from those historical figures. You have the same brain, the same capacity for focus, the same potential for courage, and the same access to the infinite power of human spirit. And the only difference between you and them is the decision to stop waiting and start doing. So what is your idea? What is your dream? What is the project that has been whispering to you from the depths of your mind, the one you have been keeping locked away because you didn't think you had what it took, because you were waiting for the right time, the right money, or the right partner? Bring it out of the shadows today. Look at it with the eyes of a creator and make a plan to start building it, even if you can only spend 30 minutes a day on it. Even if you have no budget, even if you have no support, because a tiny, imperfect step taken a day is infinitely more powerful than the most perfect plan that is never executed. Do not let the fear of what you don't know stop you, because you can learn anything you need to know along the way. The resources are available. The information is at your fingertips, and the world is filled with people who are willing to teach you if you are willing to learn.
The only thing you cannot learn is the will to try, the hunger to succeed, the decision to take responsibility, and that is something that must come from inside you, something you must choose to cultivate, to nurture, and to unleash today. So make that choice. Take that stand. Sign up for the 7-day challenge. Write "I'm still here" in the comments to show me that you are still fighting. Share this message with someone who needs to hear this truth. And watch the next video to keep building your mind and your strength, because you are on the path of self-rescue now, and there is no limit to what you can achieve when you refuse to wait for anyone else to save you.
Let us dive deeper. Let us look at the practical application of this self-rescue philosophy in your everyday life, because the philosophy is only as good as the action it produces. And we need to make sure that when you close this video, you have a concrete, actionable blueprint for how to live as your own savior every single day. The first step in this blueprint is the elimination of passive language from your vocabulary. You must stop saying "I can't," "I have to," "It's not my fault," "I wish," "I hope," and start saying "I choose," "I will," "I am responsible," "I am going to find a way." Your words are the architects of your reality. They shape your thoughts. They guide your actions. And when you use passive, victim-oriented language, you are programming your brain for helplessness and failure. But when you use active, responsibility-oriented language, you are programming your brain for power, for creativity, and for success. The second step in this blueprint is the daily practice of checking your mirror, both literally and figuratively. Every morning, before you look at your phone, before you check your emails, before you watch the news, I want you to stand in front of the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and ask yourself, if my life were to end today, would I be proud of the way I spent my time, the way I treated my mind, the way I chased my dreams? If the answer is no, do not run away from that discomfort. Do not make excuses. Do not blame your job or your schedule. Sit with that discomfort. Let it motivate you and make a conscious decision to change your actions on that very day, because the daily alignment of your actions with your values is the only way to build true self-esteem, true confidence, and true peace of mind. The third step in this blueprint is the relentless cultivation of your skills, because the more skills you have, the more valuable you are to the world, the more opportunities you can create, and the less dependent you are on any single employer, any single market, or any single system. You must become a lifelong learner, a person who devours books, who studies courses, who practices high-income skills, who seeks out mentors, and who treats their brain as an engine of creation that must be constantly upgraded, refined, and fueled with the highest quality information. Do not wait for your company to train you. Do not wait for the school system to educate you. Do not wait for someone else to hand you the keys to knowledge. Take control of your own education. Build your own library. Practice your own crafts. And become so good at what you do that the world cannot ignore you, cannot replace you, and cannot control you. The fourth step in this blueprint is the absolute protection of your energy. Because you cannot build a legendary life, you cannot rescue yourself, and you cannot achieve greatness if your energy is being constantly drained by toxic relationships, negative environments, and bad physical habits. You must treat your body as a temple of power, a machine that must be fueled with clean food, hydrated with pure water, rested with deep sleep, and strengthened with daily movement. Because when your body is strong, your mind is sharp, your focus is laser-like, and your capacity to handle stress and overcome obstacles is vastly increased. You must also treat your social circle as a board of directors for your life. You must ruthlessly eliminate the people who bring drama, gossip, negativity, and victimhood into your space. And you must actively seek out the people who challenge you, who inspire you, who hold you to a higher standard, and who are also on the path of self-rescue. Because the people you surround yourself with will determine the height of your flight and the depth of your fall. Let us look at these 4 steps together. Let us see how they connect, how they build upon one another, how they create a fortress of self-reliance that no storm can breach, no economy can crash, and no critic can destroy. And let us realize that this fortress is not built in a day. It is built brick by brick, habit by habit, decision by decision, starting right now, starting with the next action you take. Do not let the simplicity of these steps fool you. They are simple to understand, but they are incredibly challenging to execute consistently, day after day, year after year. And that is why so few people do them, and that is why so few people achieve true greatness. But you are not like the masses. You are not here to live a life of quiet desperation. You are here to rise, to conquer, and to win, and you have the strength, the resolve, and the power to execute these steps and build the life of your dreams. So make the decision today. Take the first step. Sign up for the 7-day challenge. Write "I'm ready" in the comments. Share this message with someone who is hurting, and watch the next video to keep your mind sharp and your spirit strong, because you are the savior of your own life and the journey has just begun. Let us reflect on the beauty of this journey. Let us understand that the struggles you face, the pain you endure, the loneliness you feel are not punishments. They are not signs that you are on the wrong path. They are the very fire that is refining your gold, the very resistance that is building your muscle, the very training ground that is preparing you for the greatness that is your destiny. Every time you push through a difficult day, every time you choose action over comfort, every time you take responsibility instead of laying blame, you are proving to the universe, and more importantly to yourself, that you are worthy of the success you seek, that you are the kind of person who can handle the weight of abundance, the responsibility of leadership, and the honor of a legendary legacy. Do not look for an easy life. Look for the strength to endure a difficult one. And in that endurance, you will find a joy, a satisfaction, a peace of mind that the waiters and the excuse makers can never, ever understand. You will look back at the moments of struggle, the moments of doubt, the moments when you were alone in the dark on the side of the highway, and you will smile, because you will know that those were the moments when you were truly alive. Those were the moments when you made the decision to rise. Those were the moments when you saved your own life. So stand up, dust yourself off, look the future in the eyes with a fierce, unbreakable gaze. Take your next step, and never, ever look back, because nobody is coming to save you. And that is the best news you have ever heard, because it means you are free to save yourself. Go out there and do it.